once again with the Pitching Academy. Today I'm going to talk about how to throw a curveball. This seems to be everybody's favorite pitch, so I thought I'd share that with you today. There are a few rules about throwing a curveball that you're going to need to understand. First of all, I'm going to show you how to grip it. What I do is what you want to do is put your thumb and middle finger, you're going to separate the baseball with your thumb and middle finger just like that. Notice how my index finger is up like this. Your index finger just lays slightly on the baseball, and your thumb and middle finger are the fingers that actually grip the baseball. You don't necessarily need to grip the baseball too tight. If you grab it too tight, it's just going to go right into the ground. But you've got to work with how tight you want to grip this pitch. But this you do want to know, your index finger just lays slightly on here. When I teach a pitcher a beginning curveball, I usually tell them to throw the ball just like this with their index finger pointed straight up. That's because we want them to get in the habit of just using these two fingers, thumb and middle finger, to grip the baseball. The reason why you want the baseball to be split in half like that, what I usually do is put my thumb or my middle finger on the top seam, and on the bottom seam put my thumb. That just seems to impart a little bit more rotation on the baseball as well. Now, there's a beginning way and an advanced way to throw the curveball. First thing you want to do, let me dispel a couple of myths here. First of all, everybody thinks one of the things you need to do is you wrap the curveball to get it to rotate a little bit better. You don't want to wrap the curveball like this when you throw it, because what will happen is you'll get what's called little medial epicondylitis. You'll get a sore elbow right there. It's really bad. So it's effective. It's an effective pitch, but it's not worth the health of your arm to wrap the ball like that. So what you want to do is have a straight wrist at release of the baseball, which I'm going to be talking about here shortly. There are a few other myths too. What you don't want to do is grab the baseball, pull it out like this when you first start. And then what some pitching coaches will do is have a pitcher come through here and twist the baseball at release. Again, major elbow problems when you start twisting the ball like that. So how do you throw it? Well, when you first start, you've got to pull that pitch from the glove. Again, I learned this from Tom House at the National Pitching Association, but I think it works great, especially for people that are new pitchers that are learning this pitch. But you pull out a fastball like this with your thumbs down and the ball points away from you. Can you see that case? Okay. So you pull that out, thumbs down like this. Well, with your curveball, you want to pull this pitch out. Again, this is for beginners. You pull that pitch out so the ball's facing you. So all you need to do when you throw this pitch is come around, and you're already set up. Here, let me face this way. You're actually already set up to throw that pitch. To get an effective curveball, you're just dealing with wrist and forearm angle. Your fastball, you're going to release just like this. Your curveball, you're going to release with your wrist and forearm angle like this. Again, I like Tom House's method, where you just pull the pitch out like this, facing you, and then as you come around, it's already where you need it. Now remember this with a curveball. Here's another myth. You pull it out. Well, actually, when you get a little bit more advanced, just real quickly, when you get a little bit more advanced and you learn how to feel where you release that pitch, where it is with your natural arm slot, then you can pull that pitch out just like a fastball with the curveball grip, and then find where your curveball is going to be. It's a little bit more difficult to do. Again, with beginning pitchers, I just have them pull out the pitch right here and release right here. All right, here's a myth when you're throwing a curveball, that you've got to throw the curveball over the top. Well, you do. You have to be over to the top of the baseball, but you don't necessarily change your natural arm slot when you throw. And this is what I mean by natural arm slot. My natural arm slot is about right here, 3/4 arm slot. What you don't want to do when you throw a curveball is drop this shoulder and come over the top like this and come down on the ball. A lot of coaches teach that. Why? Well, it's effective, however, at the risk of the health of your throwing arm. So you want to avoid that kind of garbage out there. You never change the only thing that you do change is your wrist and forearm angle when you're throwing a ball. You don't want to change your natural arm slot. You don't want to change your arm speed. And you don't want to change your fastball delivery when you're throwing a different pitch. And I say that time and time again, but it's that important. So, wrist and forearm angle with a curveball. Again, you're going to pull that pitch out right here. You're going to come straight around, and then at release of the baseball, a lot of guys say that you need to snap that right there. It happens naturally if you keep it relaxed. If you keep it too tight of a grip, it may not. But just keep it relaxed. That happens naturally. And then as you come down on the baseball right here, with that same natural arm slot for me is about 3/4 arm slot right there. As I come down on the ball, I'm going to end right here where my wrist is just like that. I'm going to end right here with a fastball, curveball, and then when I end with my C change or my circle change, I actually come down here and I'm going to end just like this. But that's all different pitches are. You're changing wrist and forearm angle when you're throwing the baseball. Fastball, curveball, C change right there. You're not changing your natural arm slot, throwing over the top of the baseball. So again, to recap, here's how you grip a curveball. Thumb and middle finger splitting the baseball in half. Index fingers just sitting there lightly on the baseball. Again, if you're throwing a beginning curveball, don't even put that index finger on there. Another tip is to get more rotation on the ball. It just depends on how big your hands are and your fingers are. To get more rotation for me, if I grab the baseball too tight, my thumb and middle finger, yeah, they split the baseball in half, but it's wrapped around too tight. When you're learning to throw the curveball, you need to experiment how much of a gap that you're going to leave between that baseball. For me, to have a tighter rotation, I have really long fingers. I hold my curveball with about that much gap in between it, and I seem to have more rotation on it. It's a little bit slower, but I have so much more movement on it that I like that. So just make sure when you're throwing your curveball that you can adjust where you're gripping that pitch just like that. So that's how you throw a curveball.